squared. If this is a plus, that's why we have a minus here. Take the inner product. X times 3 is 3x. Then you take this 3, the second term, and you square it, 9. All right, take a look at 28, because 28 is kind of like the last two. Take the cube root of x to the third, it's x. Same sign, minus. Take the cube root of 1. The any root of 1 is just 1. Take x in first term and square it. That's a negative, that's a plus. The inner product of x times 1 is 1x. Take negative 1, or take 1 and square it, and you get 1. Even if you squared negative 1, you still get 1. Okay, the only difference here is when you take the cube root of 64, it's 4 with the x. Plus, take the cube root of 1, you get 1. You're going to take this first term, and you're going to square it. When you square 4, you get 16, and then x squared, minus. Because this is a plus, this is a minus, opposite sign. Take the inner product of 4x and 1, 4x. Then take 1 and square it. That's your answer. On 27, you're going to take the cubed root of 8, which is 2. Same sign, minus. Take the cubed root of 125. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. That's why it's minus 5. You're going to take 2x and square it, 4x squared. This is a negative, this is a positive. Take the inner product of 2x and 5. That's 10x. You're going to take 5 and square it, 25. All right, here on 29, you're going to take the cubed root of 27. That's 3x plus. Take the cubed root of 8, 2. Take 3x and square it, 9x squared. That's a plus. This has to be a minus. The inner product of 2 and 3x is 6x. Take that second term, square it, you get 4. You're going to have 2 of those total on your test and the pretest, which you'll see tomorrow. All right, moving on here. 30, folks, I can do by easy factoring. What multiplies to 12 and adds to 8, 6, and 2. It's not going to be x plus 6, x plus 2. How do you get x to the fourth? You need x squared and x squared. All right? What multiplies to 30 because it's negative differs by 1. Differs by 1, 6 and 5. The middle term is negative, so the bigger factor's got to be negative. X squared minus 6, x squared plus 5. What multiplies to 48? Adds to a negative 14. That means I have to have 2 negatives. The product of 2 negatives is positive. The sum of 2 negatives is a negative. Anyway, that is 8 and 6. X squared minus 8, x squared minus 6. Guys, on these, I got to factor out the x that they all have in common. Take the x out. Everything is 1 power less. When I have x squared here, I can factor. What multiplies to 20 adds to 9, 4, and 5. So that x is on the outside. You're left with x plus 4, x plus 5. Same thing here. Factor out the x that they all share. You're left with x squared plus 4x minus 32. Well, multiplies to 32 because it's negative, differs by 4. 8 and 4. The middle term is positive, so the bigger factor is positive 8. That's a minus 4. This is your answer. 37, you're not going to have one where you have to just factor, but you will. Your last question on your test, you're going to solve for x. And it's one of these. Group them together. You have 2 and 2 here. So they both have at least, we call this the crazy x, at least x squared in common. So when you take away x to the second, you're taking away 2 of its x's. You're left with 3x. Plus, you take away x to the second, all that's left here would be a 2. Bring down the same sign. Plus, what do these two have in common? They're multiples of 7. Divide 21 by 7. You're left with 3. Attach the x. Plus, 14 divided by 7 is 2. Notice how those are the same thing. 3x plus 2 goes in 1, and those outsiders find love. X squared plus 7 is in the other parenthesis. All right, you will have 2 of these, guys. If I tell you that x equals 0, you can put them out of order here. If x equals 0, x equals negative 2, and x equals 3, then x minus 0, or x plus 0, would be equal to 0. So it's just x. X plus 2 would be set equal to 0, and x minus 3, the opposite, would be set equal to 0. FOIL these two. X squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 6. Combine the like terms here, then give everything else an additional x.